Chris, you like tube screamers, don't you?
Yeah.
Have you seen this JHS one here where you've got like every single tube screamer circuit all in one pedal?
Hold my beer. Got one more.
Epic. Wow. Okay, well look, welcome back to Andertons TV. Hope you enjoyed that little intro. Chris from Pedal Porn is with me. He has a pedal obsession. I didn't know it went quite this far. Yeah, we kind of we've just shot a video which perhaps you can watch up there, or assume it's been edited out, looking at the fuzz face and modern derivatives of the fuzz face, and we asked Chris to come down to do that because I know he owned a few old fuzz faces, and then. Chris like, can we do like something on tube screamers and Stevie Ray Vaughan and everything like that? I was like, yeah, sure. Thinking that maybe, I don't know, he'd bring down half a dozen tube screamers or something. Wow, I mean, well, this is ridiculous.
The first thing to mention is they all sound the same, so.
Right. They all sound the same. No, I mean, where is this? We'll talk about the lineage and the timeline of the tube screamer, but why for you is, I'm assuming this is the pedal you own the single most of the same thing of, is it?
No, it is, yeah.
Yeah,
it is.
So what's the obsession with the tube screamer? Is it for Stevie?
I think it's the nostalgic Stevie memories that I have, and now it's took a turn for the worse. But yeah, it's Stevie.
So let's talk about the timeline here then. So in your opinion, what is the original tube screamer, and which is the oldest variant of that you've got?
This one right here. This is the 1979 version. If you notice, it's actually narrower than like the big box, well, the normal standard box. So this is 1979, and it's actually different to all of them because it features 2 chips,
right,
as opposed to the one.
So this we 100. It's light as well.
Yeah, it's really light. Yeah.
So okay, so this we 100% have to try. I apologise, everybody. We aren't going to try all of these. Although Oz did want to try and break a world record for the most number of tube screamers at the same time. I don't know if that is an official world record. If it is, maybe we will do it. But anyway, so we're going to try this. So that's the 808. Obviously has been available in like a reissue format, 'cause there's a very, very clean one there.
I believe they only made like 1,500 of those reissue ones. So
the one that I think I am most familiar with, I mean, I've got one on the floor here. So this is the one from the studio. This is a brand new, they are Japanese made, aren't they? So this is the current Japanese reissue. And you can kind of see, I guess it's been in this slightly wider format for some time, but you've got, what, 6, 7 different ones of those here. What the next sort of iteration of the tube screamer was the 9, right? Do you know where the 808 came from? Is that a reference to a component that's in it?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't actually know, but
we should look that up. He's looking it up right now. Research on the fly. So TS-9 was the next iteration.
That's right.
Have you got an oldie but goldie version of that? How do you even know? Because it's most beaten up, right?
That's the TS-9, and most arguably the most sold, most famous, most
famous. Because why? I always thought the 808 was the one that Stevie used. Therefore,
Yeah, it's all subjective. I mean, we can talk about the Stevie thing in a minute if you want, but the 808 is what everyone believes he used, but in essence, he actually just moved up the models as they came out. He wasn't too precious. So it's funny because everyone, when the TS-10 came out, everyone was talking about how, we can't use that because Stevie's not using it, but he was actually using it, and
I love it. I mean, I love the fact that you see Stevie playing through Fenders, through Dumbles, through Marshall Jubilees, which is quite a high, he just sounds like Stevie in every single one, doesn't he?
Right.
So,
yeah.
But okay, so we'll have a little blast on this one as well. Did it go TS-10 then, or have we got some of the more affordable variants?
That's right. This is why, this is John Mayer's category here, where he's the one that has, I think he heard from Rene Martinez, who was Stevie Ray Vaughan's guitar tech. He heard that, Stevie was using the TS-10, and those two factors are what have now made these, unattainable on the used market, sadly. Because
are they literally original TS-10s are just unobtainable?
Yeah, they're close to, they're hundreds and hundreds of pounds. Like,
wow,
that's what Paul's been trying to do all day.
Saying that because I want.
We are interestingly we're going to take these. We've got the JHS Bonsai here, which claims to sort of replicate these circuits. We've also got the new Wampler Moxie, which they claim is a sort of a TS-10 era clone. And then we've got a Maxon OD9 and a current reissue 808. So that these will be my kind of, I don't know, this is my table of things that we might plug in after this.
Nice.
After the TS-10, where did it go then? You got a TS-7 over there. I don't remember that at all. So what are some of the weird offshoots of the Tube Screamer that maybe didn't come quite so classic?
Well, for me, this is the very first Tube Screamer I got, and that's probably why I'm a bit starry-eyed about it. But
100%, we sold a lot of those Sound Tank Ibanez pedals back in the day.
Right, yeah. The TS-5 for me is like, it's the only bad side of it is the housing is a bit. It's a bit not as robust as the metal cases, but...
Yeah, but I vaguely remember these were £29.
Yeah.
But that was when £29 bought you a semi-detached house in Hull.
Well, here's the thing, nowadays you can still find them for £40 or £50 compared to some of these Tube Screamers like this would be £1,000, for example. So.
What was the circuit in the TS-9 ostensibly a TS, TS-9 or TS-10 circuit?
It was, but it was using the more readily available components.
Right.
So it was a lot more mass-produced and...
So they did you could get choruses and all kinds of pedals within that Sound Tank range, couldn't you?
Oh, that's right,
So that was that one. So that's the most affordable kind of thing.
Well,
what else
these two are I'd say these are the two big boys of the recent years of like, let's try and upgrade a Tube Screamer to for example, this one. I think you guys stocked this actually, didn't you?
That Vemuran announced that... I think it might have been the last NAMM before lockdown, or maybe the NAMM before that, and they kind of announced it. It was a bit of a secret, and then it very, very, very quickly became apparent that they'd taken so many orders for them. It was going to take about 5 years to fulfill all the orders.
Right.
So they were crazy limited.
Right.
And I don't know what the other one is. Oh,
this is a hand-wired version of a Tube Screamer. So it's supposed to. If you ask guys like Kenny Wayne,
heavy.
Yeah, if you ask guys like Kenny Wayne Shepherd, they say that it sounds better than the stock one. So,
can we try that then?
That's one thing. It might be a good, a good shout to try that.
Because now do you know what the one that you haven't got here?
Don't tell me.
You don't have the new Tube Screamer, do you?
The white one. Yeah. Well, we didn't actually. We've got a few more.
Oh, you have.
We have got a few more.
That was one of the. Crikey, there will be a video in somewhere in the annals of history on Andertons TV where relatively recently Ibanez put this weird new modern alternative to a tube in a pedal. I think it was Ibanez did it because the tube itself is owned by Korg, so I don't know what the.
Is that the new tube?
Yeah, it was an Ibanez branded product, I think, wasn't it, rather than a Korg branded product. But anyway, so they did a Tube Screamer with this sort of pretend tube thing in it,
right?
New tube, and then it was all big fanfare and everything, and then we got told off because I think we did one of the very early videos for it where we just compared it to a regular Tube Screamer,
right,
and ended up going, it just sounds the same. Like, what's the point? But there we are. So you obviously, I'm glad you've got those though. Otherwise, you wouldn't have the full sort of history set.
And then these ones are just flashy. Let's do a 50.
That's the one, right? You got to get the full gold Pablo Escobar tube screamer. This is how this is how you smuggle tons and tons of cocaine into the country instead of gold tube screamers. That's when you know you've really made it.
That's right.
I think I like the red sparkly one as well. What else is? What's a super tube screamer? I've never even heard of that.
Well, here's another variant of the super tube screamer. These are just like a normal tube screamer on steroids. They're just like absolutely souped up, and you've got more control with the extra control. So it's Do you own a tube screamer that Josh Scott doesn't own? No, even that mini one. He's the first place I saw it. So
curses.
He can't compete with Josh. He's got absolutely everything.
Everything.
So, yes, it's like
everything. He told me how many pedals he personally has the other day.
Can you reveal it?
It's part of the competition that we're going to do soon. No, I mean it's thousands. It's thousands and thousands of pedals. But yeah, it's just
my only chance is have I got more tube screamers than him? I need to find out.
Maybe Josh, has he got more tube screamers than you? I kind of feel like this is surely the next thing that somebody, Wampler, JHS, somebody needs to reissue the Super Tube Screamer. So let's use the Ibanez one rather than the Maxon one, just because. So let's see what that sounds like. And then of course, one more. What's the TS-7?
This one is. I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure to be honest. I feel like it's a similar variant to the TS5, where it's aimed at the cheaper market.
Best feature ever. Look.
It's got a hot mode switch.
Oh. See that? Look, zooming in. We've got one in stock.
We had a second-hand one, and it was like 20 quid or something.
Yeah.
Wow.
Pricing's next.
So it's got a TS9 mode and a hot mode and retractable buttons. That's epic.
Fax machine.
Yeah, it probably has, where the paper comes out the front, doesn't it? That's cool.
Yeah.
And this is a legit, actual working. But you clearly need some sort of really small cables to use.
Yeah, we've got them with us, but
have you?
It's the world's smallest guitar pedal that actually works, and our good friend Danny actually got it for us. So yeah, cheers, Danny. But
the knobs don't.
No. It's always on. That's the
So
thing.
I literally just thought I'm about to break one of the knobs off there, but that's amazing. So we must.
But by the way, the story behind them is really interesting. It's a guy, I believe in like Japan or whatever. He's anonymous, and no one knows who makes them, and he just every so often makes like 5 or 6 a year, and. I've seen them go for about £1,000 on eBay, those little ones, which is what's happening. But
well, I mean, Chris wants to play Tube Screamer Jenga, which maybe we'll do at the end of the video. I kind of feel bad, really. There's some expensive pedals. In fact, talking of expensive pedals, before we just literally clear off and we plug these in, was it this one?
Aha, yes.
It is this one, is it?
Can I just check the back?
Yeah, 144417.
That's the one.
Famous owner time.
Again, Mr. Eric Johnson.
No way. I didn't even know. Is he one of the sort of demigods of Tube Screamer?
He actually is. I mean, there's such a wide range. Like everyone seems to have used a Tube Screamer at some point, but I feel like with any pedal that Eric Johnson's owned, it's got to be a good one and that should be a good benchmark test actually against like a normal one. That'd be interesting actually. Does it sound different to a stock one?
We won't hear it, but he will. He'll literally immediately, even over YouTube, he go, "That's the one. I need that one." Well, I mean, we can have this over here if we want to plug into something that Eric Johnson has owned at some point or other. Let's tidy away and let's plug these in. I'm kind of intrigued to talk about whether you have a preference and all that kind of stuff. But wow, I should say thank you so much as well for bringing all these down.
No, thank you. It did take me about 4 hours to pack them.
I imagine it did. All right, okay. Well, we're going to tidy up a bit here and then we'll come back and plug these in. So. Ooh.
The following day.
Okay, we have a Stratocaster tuned to E flat. We're actually going to use 2 amps simultaneously here. So we've got a Fender Deluxe, which is pretty crystal clean, and then a Marshall SV20, which is a little bit crispy. In fact, let's just have a chord of that. We're going to start with the oldest pedal in this sort of Tube Screamer family, which is this dual chip TS-808 that Chris mentioned before. And then we're going to compare it to what the Bonsai 808 sounds like and also what a brand new 808 sounds like. And I guess we'll probably also then try Eric Johnson's TS-808 to find out if there's really some magic inside there. Do you know what was the hand-wired one? Oh, that was also based on an 808. So maybe these will be our first three. So let's have a little look. Stevie's settings are fairly well documented, aren't they?
They sure are, yeah. It's low overdrive and high level because he's trying to push the front end of the amp just to like make it as a boost. He was trying to keep it as clean as possible, apparently, from what we've heard.
Yeah.
But
and of course, if we don't get quite Stevie enough with that, maybe we'll get a bit more Stevie with this, or if you can see over Chris's shoulder there, or maybe with this. Can I try this?
Oh, it's a beast! It's a beast. It's literally a baseball bat.
Oh. Big strings as well.
Yeah.
I might go for this.
Oh,
Look at
nice.
this.
Yes.
You know what? I've never seen a Fender Strat where the neck join, I don't know how to explain this, maybe if I put it like this, it's fatter here than the actual headstock bit. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
it's absolutely. That's
that is
literally a baseball bat. That's the biggest neck I've ever played. So.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. It probably won't probably see this, but it's like one continuous piece of just chunk. Right. Anyway, here we go with the original one. Ow! Flippin' heck! That's a good Stevie tone, right? Don't we think we've... Wowzers. Let's try the Bonsai. Definitely very, very similar.
It was.
And let's try the modern TS-808. You might have to keep going. I realised the tone was
Sorry,
turned
that's
down. I can't tell the difference between any of them.
That's because I told you at the start of the episode we didn't need to do this episode. They all sound the same.
Let me, whilst you're playing, let me just, with no, I'll just change and we'll see what happens. Blooming loud, right? It's pretty loud in here. I'm not even entirely sure that the sound changes radically with or without any of the pedals. Can you just play without anything? I take that back. There's definitely tightens it up, a bit more gain, does what the Tube Screamer thing does.
Yeah, with these settings, it's trying to just give you a bit more and that mid-range hump, and then yeah, just a bit more of what your tone is. But it sounds a bit more thin, doesn't it? Without it, it's a.
Are you as the player sort of going, yeah, there's definitely something about one of these three that I prefer. I mean, if I guess the psychosomatic or whatever you call it sort of thing, as soon as you know it's this one, I'm assuming there's something going, oh yeah, that's the juicy one. But if you didn't know, I mean, would you not, are you hearing anything?
Not really. But, and also the thing is, that one, I'm conscious of the fact it's got 2 chips in. So I'm thinking that should make a difference, a big difference, shouldn't it? But it's, because
can I do the same?
Oh, of course, yeah.
I mean, this is ridiculous, this guitar. Let me so if you do the switching now.
Okay.
And I'll see. I mean, I can't play Stevie Ray Vaughan stuff, so I'll just play my same old tired blues hacks and see. Okay, that sounds throatier, fatter maybe to me.
Yeah, that one's got a bit more bite to it, hasn't it?
It's so marginal. I mean, you know, if there was any truth in like the old ones having some sort of magic that the new ones can't capture, I can't say that I can accept that. You know, it just to me just sounds like. I mean, these two just sound identical, and then this one has a slightly different lower mid-range. I think slightly throatier.
Would you say it's almost more modern, even though it's?
I just think it's just been voiced. I mean, I wonder if you just literally turn the tone up a tiny bit, whether or not you'd match it. Let's just try that. Just see if you just turn the tone up a little bit on the bonsai. What have I done? Here we go. It's this thing called a volume control. Is Stevie all about neck pickup or
such a different variety of different?
Really?
But I'd say neck for the I'll start. Could you notice that I was switching them then?
I'm not really. I'm more trying to just play nicely, but. Not really.
But in the end, I cranked up the overdrive and the tone a bit more, and I feel like that's what was giving that extra thing. So, like you say, you can probably get close if you adjust the knobs a bit, can't you? I feel
like this needs heavier strings for me to really feel like. I mean, I'm relatively easily bending the tones on here, and kind of feeling like what I should be literally looking at is my fingers just being destroyed. So, what if you just put 10s on this or something?
That's 11s.
Is it?
It is 11s, yeah.
Oh. I guess it's because it's tuned down half a step.
That's probably what it is, yeah.
Okay, so this one is leaving the chain, and we're now going to go over to the 808 that would have been one of the first single chip versions of the 808, just to see. We don't have to spend quite so long doing this. It's like, is there going to be any one of these that sort of leaps out as like a magic? Kind of feel as well when we get TS-10 we might have to go a bit more John Mayer than Stevie, but I'm not doing that. Is that just the one pedal on? Man, actually, which were you switching to, that one and that one?
Yes, right.
I marginally think I preferred that one, but it's so nothing.
It's so small, isn't it? It's so small.
You play. I kind of feel like I've used up all of my Stevie chops.
Should I try that guitar?
Sure.
I'm a bit scared. It's a very scary guitar this to play, isn't it?
Well, I mean, you mentioned this is a parts caster rather than a genuine old Fender thing, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Based on all the kind of measurements and stuff that would have come off of his original.
That's right. Yeah, massive frets, massive neck, low output pickups, just beefed up.
I genuinely don't mind massive necks at all, and I kind of feel like there's a very small, 1 or 2 minute transition for me where I have to go, okay, this neck's a bit fatter than the previous neck that I was playing or whatever, and then after that I just forget about it. I genuinely don't mind. I think people make a ridiculous big deal. Oh, my fingers aren't big enough, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Rubbish.
I used to teach kids, and they'd always say, "My hands aren't big enough to do it." And I was like, "It's an excuse."
It's like, yeah, it's just. Anyway, right. Let's try this ham-wired dude. So you were saying Kenny Wayne Shepherd likes the ham-wired one, right?
That's right. Yeah, and he says that you can hear the warmth compared to like a bog standard one. So.
Well, he is one of the all-time kind of Stevie greats, isn't he? So
yeah, I sort of grew up listening to him since the age of like 8. So it's
okay, let's. Do you know what though? They absolutely nail the pointless LED that you can't see, don't they?
I was trying to switch.
It's a real theme of Tube Screamers. Like it's like that's the key, isn't it? Can you nail the pointless LED? See, that's what an LED is supposed to look like, Ibanez. That's a complete waste of time. I can't see that. Anyway, right, let's try this one. And I just say as well, if you want a real example of what makes the biggest difference to guitar tone, it's just give it to 2 different guitar players. I sound nothing like you.
It's funny.
And it's the same. It's just, it's like, I almost feel like that's just more than any of the gear. It's the fingers, isn't it? Anyway. I mean, I'm consistently hearing on the 808 model a thicker low end than any of the original ones, and I can't tell. I don't think that sounds any different to that one. I mean, these, if they are, it's like fractions of a percent.
Do you think a lot of it is, sat at home watching demos with different contexts, and then you hear someone doing maybe a bit better justice with that one, and then it's like you get it in your head that it's better?
1,000,000%. Honestly and truthfully, if Kenny Wayne Shepherd at some point at a rehearsal or whatever had this plugged in and nailed something, that's the pedal he needs to then use, because it's that sort of reassurance that was the best you ever sounded was when you were plugged into. Could have been a whole plethora of other reasons why you sounded that amazing that day, but you need to recreate that as best you can.
Totally.
I do also quite often I sort of think, we're hearing a tone in the room. Sometimes the close mic'd cabinets pick up things that maybe we don't hear so much. So you may have a preference, you may be hearing slightly different things. But okay, so we feel like we've done the 808 bit, apart from the mini one, which we'll leave right to the end. So let's move on now to that next iteration of the Tube Screamer, which was the TS-9.
5 minutes later.
Okay, so TS-9, Bonsai now on the TS-9 setting, and a Maxon OD9. So do you want to tell the people about the Maxon sort of reason why people often say the Maxon is the closest you can get to the old Ibanez's?
Well, Maxon, all of these vintage Tube Screamers are actually made by Maxon. So that's where the starry-eyed nature of it comes back. And then in, I think it was 2002, that's when Ibanez started making the actual, reissues under their own factory and brand. So it's Yeah, the Maxon is supposed to be identical, made in the same factory, wasn't it?
Yeah.
As the
This is
They designed it, didn't they, Max?
Well,
Yes.
Yeah, this is the silliness around copyright and stuff, where you can't copyright circuits on pedals. So the fact that Maxon made the original OD9, they've got the circuit. They know exactly all the components that were in it. They're perfectly entitled to make it. They're just not allowed to call it a tube screamer. So they've got the same case, the same, borderline the same font. But this is now a Maxon OD9 as opposed to a Maxon TS9. But let's see. Is the sense that the settings should still remain
I'd
sort of
say so.
Stevie Ray Vaughanish?
I'd say so, yeah.
Interesting again, before we do this, TS9 I've always thought had that slightly more 80s rock, into a JCM 800. I don't know which is. Do you know which is the sort of the tube screamer that generally speaking the gent guys go for to sort of tighten up those much higher gain? Is that an 808 or a 9?
I heard that Kirk Hammett uses like a TS9 for his solos, just to give it that mid push.
I'm thinking
in terms of the more heavy,
much more modern than that, like a periphery type thing. I don't know if that's a 9 or an 808. Comment below, that would be helpful if you know the answer. Right, let's have a little listen now to our TS9. So here's nothing, just to remind you of what our basic signal is. Flipping heck, man.
you need some earphones.
Might have to go through that again. I'm kind of feeling again these are the two most similar sounding ones. And it's not. It's it's like 98% there, but not quite. Can you play some more rhythm kind of stuff that you were playing before?
Yeah.
That's tight, isn't it, that one? I kind of feel that the very first time round when you were playing, there was some nostalgic part of me going that I thought that might have something, but not hearing it second time.
To be honest, I was in my own world then. I wasn't even thinking about the pedals, and I was just I couldn't hear it. I didn't even notice you were switching or anything. I was but again, it should be the same. They're saying it's made in the same factory. It's the same thing, so you'd hope it would be.
I've got the Halcyon here, which has got sort of 808. I suppose should have probably done this with the 808 one in here, but this is one of these sort of an example where it's not trying to be a clone of the tube screamer. It's a manufacturer sort of going, it's my spin on it with like my improvements as such. So maybe we'll plug that one in right at the very end. But I tell you what I am liking overall, which I didn't think I would. I think I prefer the TS9 sound to the TS808 sound.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like the TS9 is the TS8, but a bit more bitey, and we was hearing about this on the way down actually. The TS9 sold way better than the TS808 because players resonated with that extra push that it gave. So
can I try the? I mean, you got to tell people. It's quite cool to see this because I've seen. I said I'm not. I admire Stevie Ray and as a player, but I wouldn't say he was one of the ones that hugely influenced me or anything. But periodically I saw him playing live with either the one with lipstick pickups but what looked like a Strat, but with a very angular body.
Yes.
And obviously a different headstock. But what's the story behind Hamilton?
Well, there was a guy called Jim Hamilton, and he used to, hand build guitars one at a time. And he actually made one for, I believe it was Billy Gibbons, and then Billy Gibbons just gifted it to Stevie Ray Vaughan, and he ended up really liking it. And it's actually quite famous. If you guys look at the Cold Shot video with Stevie Ray Vaughan, that's the famous one that he's using, and also in the Couldn't Stand the Weather video. This is not a good fact actually, but he ended up using that guitar when he had to get his guitar wet because he didn't want to destroy his main one. So
right.
It wasn't his main guitar, but ironically it was called Main, his one. But yeah,
I love that everybody seems to make a guitar for Billy Gibbons that then Billy Gibbons gives to someone else.
Yeah,
I kind of.
That's right.
I can tell which one is on is to physically look.
Yes.
Which is obviously not the object of the...
I could hear a bit more darkness then. I don't know if it's just, maybe I got it in my head that it was doing that, but I felt like this was a bit darker, but who knows.
I'm similar things to this. I think it's a slightly different lower mid-range and not in a way I like it. These two are just the same though, aren't they? I mean, this is pretty cool guitar to play. It's another big neck guitar. I guess Stevie had a thing for big neck guitars. It's not as fat this way as the Sunburst one, but it's almost got like a Les Paul feel to it with the bound edge, and the lacquered back of the neck. But still sounds Stratty though, doesn't it?
Actually sounds more Stratty to me than a Strat.
More Stratty than a Strat. Okay, so what have we learnt so far? We've learnt that all Tube Screamers sound very similar, but that actually maybe the TS-9 is the one we prefer over the TS-808, which kind of, as I said, that surprised me a little bit. I'm just going to see whether a Super Tube Screamer is indeed super, and then we'll move on to the TS-10, and we'll go all John Mary. I imagine. Well, I won't, but Chris will. So tones-wise on here, we've now got 4 knobs rather than 3. So we've got an actual mid-boost control on here, which is kind of cool. Let's see what that does. So if I leave that all the way down whilst we compare it perhaps with a regular OD9 and then see what happens. So here's our no pedal tone. Play some solo. Good feature. Mm-hmm. There you are, Tube Screamer clone companies. You're going, how do we make the 9 millionth Tube Screamer clone? Copy the mid boost, copy the Super Tube Screamer. It's quite a useful feature. I don't mind that for.
It had some extra juice, didn't it? When
it did.
Kicked it on. Yeah. I like it.
So, right, he says, getting confused. TS-10 time. TS-10. This is so battered.
That is bad. I'm hoping that's the best sounding one out of that because it's been used a lot.
This is your, like, if you were going to gig, then is TS-10 is what you would choose out of all the Tube Screamers, is it?
I'd personally choose the TS-9, but I feel like the fact that that one's been so well loved is like, it's got to be a good one, you know, but...
Top mounted jacks, it's a win from Pete. That's like, that's a thumbs up. And then we're going to go Moxie, aren't we? As the sort of, we've basically put the bonsai on the TS-10 mode. Moxie, I can't remember whether or not on the Wampler website whether they outwardly say it's a TS-10 clone or whether I've just heard that in some sort of marketing rumor. Okay, so on the Moxie, I've switched the voice and the fat modes to their sort of stock modes, if you like. So we're staying kind of TS-10-y. Probably better off going and watching an actual Moxie video if you want to see what those switches do. I think we've done one at Andertons, might be up there. As I said, TS-10 mode on the bonsai and just a TS-10. Now you're going to go, Mayer was hugely influenced by Stevie Ray Vaughan and Jimi Hendrix, so you could play any of that stuff. But let's try and go, let's do some of that sort of continuum era.
Like sob rock?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, not sob rock.
No, I'm joking.
I was going to say, I kind of think more
definitely
the trio stuff. Where is the trio
in my head.
era?
By the way, are those settings similar? I'm not sure if we...
Pretty...
I think, is that the volume? Oh, sorry, it's
yeah,
sorry, it's
right, okay. Let's just start with no pedals and I'll kick them in. Thoughts before I colour everyone's opinion with my own?
When you clicked on the TS-10 again, it felt a lot more vintage. Is that, I don't know if
that was my favourite one.
Yeah,
it's a bit more like...
Which I'm not supposed to say because we can't sell those. Hang on a second. No, I genuinely, I'd have to say there's a shout there to dive on over to eBay and just find an old one. Although, what I will do at the end of this video is the 3, 808, 9 and 10. Because actually I still think I prefer the 9 as my favourite of them all.
The Moxie takes 18 volts. Is that worth trying?
We can absolutely. If you didn't hear that, that was Pete saying the Moxie takes 18 volts. Can we try that? So we can. Whether that makes any difference or not, we shall find out. I mean, the Moxie for me is unnecessarily over the top. It's almost like I get it that's the angle he's going for. It's just like, oh, it's crazy. But for what I wanted to hear with the John Mayer thing, it doesn't need to be, which is why actually maybe you saw me backing the levels down. Maybe there's another angle. Maybe the Moxie is just an out-and-out rock pedal comes into its own. But it is now plugged in with 18 volts, and I've dialed it down. Can you do that again? I mean, it's great playing, by the way. So that's perfect for that kind of vibe.
Thanks very much. Should I stick on the riff a bit more? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel sometimes this stuff's easier to hear when you're playing the solo parts.
Okay, right, yeah.
But yeah, go for it.
Oh yeah, I'll start off with that.
mean, yeah, again, we're splitting hairs here, aren't we?
Yes.
Actually, I think the Bonsai probably was doing its best impression of the three on its TS-10 mode.
Yeah.
The Moxie, I don't know. I mean, I think I think it wants to go a bit, the Moxie, rather than just sort of this relatively restrained thing. The TS-10 sounds great.
I feel like the TS-10 has a slight blanket over it, like a more vintage tinge to it. But maybe that's just I'm looking at a battered guitar pedal, I don't know. But,
I mean, look, I mean, yeah, I don't really know. I sort of feel this is more myth-busty than helpful, as in it's almost just like, we're all banging on about, is it the 8, the 9, the 10, the super, and you just go, they're all the same. I don't know, maybe not. I'm going to put the Halcyon in now just because.
2 very boring minutes later.
We're just going to whiz through them, play the same kind of stuff. I'll kick the Halcyon in at the end and we'll see whether that's the best one of them all or wherever that ranks. But here we go, TS-808 with Eric Johnson's Tone Juice sprinkled over it. They all sound the same.
I didn't hear any difference. I was busy listening.
The Halcyon.
I'm just saying, you can buy these t-shirts, by the way, if you agree with me. Perhaps I should have worn the green one, shouldn't I? But right, I'm just going to end. Well, actually, stay tuned because we haven't tried this yet. This is probably about a 5-hour-long video. This one, isn't it? But
I've somehow been
yes,
convinced to be
put
blindfolded.
the VIP blindfold on.
Jeez.
Okay,
Right.
so what I guess I kind of want you to. I know what we'll do. We'll play a little clip on each one, and then you've got to guess. You've just got to say 808, 9, 10, or Halcyon, and I'm going to do 4. And I promise you, what I won't do is just press the same pedal twice just to try and throw you. So they genuinely are, but I'm not going to tell you what order it's in. Okay, so we're going to play some lead guitar styly stuff. So start playing so you can't even hear the switch.
Was that the... I can't remember what pedals are there.
Okay, 808, 9, 10 or Halcyon?
I think 808. No.
Okay, right, start playing again.
I'd say... I'd probably go Halcyon.
No. Okay, right, start playing again.
TS-9? No.
Okay, excellent. And lastly, he's good at this, isn't he? Yeah, lastly, keep playing.
TS-10, is it?
No. TS-10. Unbelievable. I tell you, Chris.
Can I take it off, yeah?
Yeah, you can take it off. I mean, it's staggering. It's. I mean,
I've been trolled. I've been trolled
I
majorly.
honestly think that clearly owning 65 different tube screamers has given you a alien level knowledge and understanding of tube screamers. I mean, obviously it'd be massively embarrassing if you got every single one wrong, said the highest gain one was the lowest gain one, and vice versa. But fortunately for you, that didn't happen. Okay, or at least maybe you'll have to watch the video to find out. So there you are. I just want to hear this one now. I just want to play out on this one. Hopefully you enjoyed that last little segment. Sorry to troll you slightly there, Chris, but yes, you got every single one wrong.
But you I said it at the start. I said it at the start. Everyone sounds the same.
And all back to front as well. Right. So how does this work then? We've just got these little tiny.
I've been waiting to plug this in for the first time here.
Oh wow!
So
does it need power? I mean, it must need power.
Yeah, it's got
right?
a little.
That's crazy. So we just go battery. We'll need a little 9-volt battery. Right. Just play us out, please, Mr. Chris. It's been a pleasure seeing you again.
Thanks so much.
If I didn't say at the beginning of the video, I'm sure I did. Chris and his merry men run the pedal porn pedal company. But as you can see, this video has not been designed to try and sell you any pedal porn pedals. Chris is just a genuine pedal fanatic into his tube screamers and fuzzes and univibes and all that other stuff. So anyway, go check pedal porn out. They're lovely guys, make some cool pedals. But yes, the ultimate mini tube screamer. Let's hear what it sounds. Just like all the other ones. See you next time.